Hey guys, this is Green Valor. I just got out of the shower, but head out for work. Haven't made a video in a bit. Been sick. Also, I'm on days I kind of just sleep for the rest of the day once I get home from work because it's tiring, exhausting, whatever. Anyways, today I'm going to talk about the importance of conservative and liberal politics and why I don't believe a third party uh, is necessary in the current system we have of Western liberal democracies. I'll explain it like this, because you only need a conservative and a liberal party to make this system work. Now I'll explain why. The conservative principles are what? Tradition, order, structure, just keeping it the same. Realistically, that's what conservative principles are. And so you would think, well, we want to progress society. Why the fuck would we want to keep tradition and the same values forever? I mean, what purpose would that serve? And I'll explain to you. Because if you only had liberal principles, you would essentially be it would be like, you know how you would make additions to your house or renovations. You would change certain things about your house to improve it, the resale value, or just the quality of the house in general, right? Uh, those are good liberal principles that you want to introduce a little bit, just a little bit. But ultimately, liberal principles are chaotic. They're liberating, they're freedom, but they're also chaotic. And you cannot just keep going that route because you'll end up in a system where instead of just adding on to the house or renovating a few rooms, you're tearing the whole bitch down and rebuilding it every 4 years or every term limit until the next person is voted in. And then when they get voted in, they look at the house and they go, okay, we don't like this either. They tear it down, rebuild it. This is why you need conservative principles in there, because if you don't, all you're going to be doing is rebuilding the same system over and over and over again, and you'll never actually progress anywhere. You need to maintain the good values and progress society forward in certain areas. And now you understand why it's important to have conservative and liberal principles to make the system work in a Western liberal democracy. Because if you don't, you're either going to maintain the same system over and over again if you just have conservative principles, never budging, never moving. And if you just have liberal principles, you're never going to get anywhere because you just keep rebuilding it. And why I don't think there'll be necessity for a third party is because how are you going to? I mean, why are you gonna take? It doesn't make any sense. It just, why would you need that? You just have every 4 years we progress a little bit, every 4 years we don't. This is why you never get a party in indefinitely. You'll never get a party to stay in, and why a lot of countries in the world you see them staying a little more conservative with little adjustments to society, because ultimately government doesn't affect the market ultimately, because unless you have a controlled market, the government doesn't have a say in it. They can restrict certain things, they can outlaw certain things, but they can't. They don't really want to touch it. They want to let it grow organically, because if they start touching it, they start fucking with it. People get disgruntled, and the market takes a hit. This is why socialism will never work, because you cannot control the market, you can't predict the market. It's organic, it's based on human elements, and you cannot control human elements. Whatever we think, whatever we decide, but you can decide what is right and wrong, which is why we have law and freedoms. But ultimately, there's no need for a third party, because if you don't like those principles, if things are progressing too fast and it's causing society to tear at the seams, you just vote conservative. And if things aren't progressing enough for you and society feels that way, then organically we will vote liberal. This is this is why a third party is not really necessary, because ultimately people will vote in their best interest in a very organic manner in society, and you have to sort of let that happen. You can't control that. And you may be wondering, well, why is it that conservatives will support things like gay marriage, abortion rights, and listen to rock and metal music when there was a time that they didn't? This is very fascinating, because this is interesting. What liberals do is they move the bar up. If the conservatives don't oppose them when they move the bar up, this becomes normalized. Whatever this is, whether it's listening to rock music, metal music, abortion rights, the right to vote for women, or gay rights, it doesn't matter. Once the bar is pushed up and nobody opposes it, it becomes tradition. And when it becomes tradition, it becomes a conservative value. And conservatives protect their traditional values. So this is why in Canada, gay marriage was legal in the 90s. We don't really oppose that, especially the conservative parties. They're like, we're not going to touch it. They don't ever touch it. Why? Because there's no reason to. They would have to convince society that they have to go against tradition and normal values that everyone's comfortable with, and that's simply not a conservative principle. If you wanted to oppose gay marriage, it would have to come from the liberal side, because now you're changing tradition and traditional values. It would actually have to be a liberal principle that comes in to outlaw homosexuality or abortion rights or a woman's right to vote. It would actually have to be a liberal principle, because conservatives now protect that. It's tradition now. So now you understand, why certain things are the way they are and how conservative principles are important and necessary, because we don't want to go back to a time before gay marriage, right? We need those conservative principles to keep them there. We don't want to go back to a time where coat hanger abortions were normalized, right? Okay, well, we have to keep conservative principles in here. We can't just go full liberal. We don't want to go back to a time where women couldn't vote. We needed liberal principles at that time, and now we need conservative principles to maintain order and tradition. This is how that works. So hopefully this gives you guys a better understanding of politics and the need for both sides of the party, and why we never really vote a third party in organically, because it just doesn't make any sense for the national order of a Western liberal democracy. Anyways, guys, this has been Green Valor. I hope you enjoyed the video, and you guys have a good day.